Hello, today I am joined by the lovely Dr. Tanya. Hi, Tanya, how are you?
I'm so good, and I'm really excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me, Emma.
I am super excited to have this conversation with you today. Right, we're going to do what I always do. We're going to get stuck straight in. Tanya, take us back to life pre-entrepreneurship. Take us back to life as Dr. Tanya.
Okay, wow. So I am a radiology doctor, so I'm a radiologist. I qualified as a doctor in 2010, then did my houseman years. I did my radiology training, and whilst I enjoyed a lot of what I did as part of my job, I knew that there was something missing because the levels of stress, the levels of responsibility really drove me to burnout and to, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, borderline depression being a doctor with all of the responsibility that you have to carry from looking after your patients and from, as a very conscientious person, someone who always wants to make sure they're doing the right thing, who doesn't like making mistakes. It was it was something that, yes, I enjoyed part of, but I knew it wasn't for me long term. So um I qualified as a doctor, did all the training, I got all of my qualifications to become a radiology consultant. And at the point where I was supposed to be looking for consultant jobs, where all of my other colleagues that had grown up with me in radiology were looking for their consultant jobs, and everyone was saying to me, Tanya, where are you applying for a job? I said, well, I'm not going to, because at that point I had decided that that wasn't the life for me. I felt like I was living the life of someone else, not the freedom-based, the freedom-fueled life that I knew was the life that I really wanted deep down, if I was really honest with myself. And there were quite a few triggers and things that I've gone through in my journey, which have really hit home, as you obviously know very well, Emma. Life is so short, and if there are things that we really want, we cannot be putting them off until tomorrow. We cannot be waiting until tomorrow. And so, cutting a very long story short, I got to the point where I was severely burnt out, borderline depressed, not fulfilled, totally unhappy, coming home to my husband every day. Just in tears, saying that I just can't believe this is my life. I just can't carry on like this because I'm too stressed and I'm so unhappy. And we decided that, I had to do something to get myself out of my medical career. And so that's exactly what we did. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I was doing before I became before I became an entrepreneur.
And it's a huge step, isn't it, to make a decision to walk away from, because you don't become a doctor overnight, do you? It's not like, you can just go and quickly get this qualification, then off you go. There's a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I imagine, that go into that training. So it's a massive decision to say, that's it, I'm going to walk away from that and do something different. And where
Yeah.
did your different come from?
Oh, well, I always knew that I was meant for more. I always have known that I was born to help others. I was born to help people. I was born to make a difference to people's lives. And obviously, for a long time, I thought that was through being a doctor and helping people, patients with their health and, looking after them. Um, and that also came from me coming from a background of doctors. So all of my dad's sides, they're all Middle Eastern. They were all doctors except for my father. And every one of them did really well, except for my dad, sort of financially and status wise and all the things. Which is why I thought, okay, well, this is what I know. This is what I've been brought up with my uncles and aunts all being doctors. This is the thing for me. But a number of things happened. So, which were the catalysts for me to say, do you know what? This is not the life for me, and I'm going to make the change. And one of them was just a deep knowing inside me that actually, since I'd started medical school, and I went to medical school for 6 years, I studied really hard for GCSEs and A levels for a number of years, focused on getting into medical school because you can't just do any A levels or GCSEs to get into medical school. It's very hard to get into and very competitive. I went to medical school for 6 years. I got 2 degrees during that time. I then got into my junior doctor training and the radiology training. I knew during all of those stages that something didn't feel right for me, but I kind of just hushed it. I kind of just kept it on the back burner. I kind of dampened it and kind of diluted those thoughts and those feelings inside me and oppressed them really, because I thought, well, I really don't know what other opportunities there are out there for me. So I'm just going to have to crack on and do this, even if it's not making me happy. And I knew deep down that actually I was here for so much more. And yes, whilst I was born to help people, maybe it was in a different way. I just didn't know what that different way could look like. So once I got started thinking about, well, what else can I do? My instant reaction was, well, I need to go back to university because that's all I know. I'll need to go and get a degree because that's all I know, and then get a job because that's all I know. I wasn't brought up by entrepreneurs. Neither of my parents were or are. I mean, my dad's still with me, thank goodness. Neither of them were entrepreneurs or money savvy or financially savvy whatsoever, through no fault of their own. So I've had to learn business and money and wealth creation on my own with my husband from sort of my mid 30s, really. I'm 40 in a few weeks' time.
Ooh,
So
exciting.
it's not exciting, scary, but exciting. I'm going to own level 4 completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. And so there was this deep knowing inside me that I wanted to create a freedom-based lifestyle. And, I got to a number of points in my journey where I was just suddenly shocked at how I'd come to accept a certain salary ceiling and a certain ceiling on my freedom. So, with 28 days of annual leave, being able to travel and explore this incredible world that we've been gifted, you know. But someone to say, well, you've only got 28 days to go and do this, and you have to ask for annual leave 8 weeks, 6 weeks in advance. I was like almost disgusted with myself that I'd got to the point where I came to accept that that was okay, and to be told to have to work these long shifts, missing out on my two daughters' special occasions, birthdays. My last birthday in the NHS, I was in the hospital. I was the only radiologist in the hospital on the 28th of December, spent my entire birthday there, the last one that I worked in the NHS, as the only radiologist in the doctor in the hospital. Obviously, that wasn't the freedom lifestyle that I really wanted to live. And something that's really important for me as well, which we were chatting about earlier, as you know, um, is location independence. So having the freedom to be anywhere you want in the world, but also to earn money and earn income to provide for my family from anywhere in the world. And being a doctor, you can't really do that. You're restricted to a location, a job, and having to go into work at set hours and so on. And sometimes my hours were 9 to 9 during the day, 9 to 9 during the night, 12-hour shifts on the weekend, on a Saturday and a Sunday. It was a lot. It was a lot. Um, but I would say the biggest catalyst was losing my mum. So losing my mum on the 15th of December 2012 in my arms after a 13-year battle with cancer, which obviously you're very familiar with. That was the biggest wake up call for me. It was the most devastating experience that I've ever gone through, as you can appreciate.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and it was devastating because we were best friends. I'm the only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters to share that experience with. Um, and my mum was only 57. She had dreams of packing in her psychology teaching job, selling her house, getting rid of this huge mortgage that stressed her out every month, and just going and traveling the world, going exploring cultures, languages, different foods, and really integrating in different cultures because she was never a tourist on holiday. She always wanted to get involved with people and learn more about cultures and everything. And for the years prior to her passing away, sadly, she used to tell me that that was her plan and she's going to start off in South America, which, oh, my camera's gone off, which ironically is where my husband is from. She was going to start in South America and go to all of these countries, and she was just going to completely cut herself free and follow the lifestyle, the freedom lifestyle that she really wanted by cutting herself free from those shackles of a mortgage and a job and all the stresses of sort of the Western world and Western living, really. But that literally got taken away from her overnight. It got completely, that idea, that dream, that wish, that dream of following a freedom lifestyle was obliterated in a moment with no warning, really. And whilst it was the most devastating experience that I've ever had to go through, which I actually didn't think that I could survive, if I'm being completely honest, And I've surprised myself that I have somehow. I don't really know how, but it has made me stronger. It's made me more resilient, but it's also been my biggest learning and my biggest teaching because up until that point, I will be very honest in saying that I pretty much took everything for granted. And I'm ashamed to say that. Um, but you know, in the Western world, we're kind of brainwashed almost to think that we have all the time in the world, that we have, like we can do that tomorrow, we can put it off to next year. But actually, this was a big wake up call for me. That is not reality. Life is so fragile. It's so short. We are not here. We're not here forever. It's not guaranteed. And so it was my biggest learning to say, Tanya, if you're going to do something, then you need to do something now, like you need to do something quickly. And if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled in your job or the lifestyle that you're living, you need to go and do something about it. And so, whilst I didn't make immediate changes immediately after losing my mum 12 years ago, 12 Christmases ago, um, it was the catalyst for me to start putting things in place. So we lost mum in 2012. I left the NHS in January 2021. I could have left earlier, but I was always brought up by my parents to finish whatever I'd started. And so in January 2021, I got my radiology consultancy CCT training, which basically meant that I can be a radiology consultant. And I was like, right, that's it. I'm done here now. To everyone else's shock horror, which was totally like unheard of, really. When you get to that level in medicine, you're like, you've put all of this effort and time and money as well into becoming a doctor and a consultant, and then you're just going to leave. Like everyone was shocked. Um, but yeah, those are the key reasons why, and I realize I've been talking a long time. So those are the key reasons why it got to boiling point where I was like, no, this is not for me anymore, and I need to make a huge change.
Yeah, and I think that happens a lot, doesn't it? Forgive my voice, people. I am losing my voice slowly today. I think that happens a lot, doesn't it? That we wait, not intentionally, for something life-changing and tragic, I think that's a word to use, for us to realize how precious life is. Even though we often know that, and I'm sure, you didn't go into your career as a doctor with the intention of sacrificing your life for that career. You went in there with the intention of wanting to help people. That came across very clear from when you were just talking. But very easily, you do actually end up doing that if you're not careful, don't you? Whether it's in a career or even in your own business. I did exactly the same in my own business. You
Yeah.
sacrifice everything else for this thing that you think is what success looks like. For you, it was about, that's what your family had all done. So for you, that's the natural path for you to follow, to go and
Yeah.
be the doctor, to change people's lives from a health perspective. To me, it was this real fear of because I'd always been told that I was never going to make anything of myself as a child. So for me, it was always very much about, well, I need to prove to people that I can do. And that only
Yeah.
comes, and I still hear this a lot today, and I'm sure you do, that only comes when you've got things and stuff around you. Then people think you are a successful person. But actually, to me, and I'm sure you will agree with this, that success is about it's about freedom, but it's not just freedom, it's financial freedom because you need the money to be able to do the things that you want to do. Now, that amount of money can be different for different people because it depends on what that looks like. But having that money, that wealth, is so important, isn't it? It's so important to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just written an article for a potential article for a magazine actually, literally 2 days ago on sort of financial well-being for 2025. And it's really important for people to realize that if you want the freedom, if you want the freedom-based lifestyle, you have to fund it somehow, obviously. And so that's why I focused on building my property portfolio before I left my medical job to ensure that I'd replaced my medical income, my salary, because it was a good salary. Not amazing. People are shocked when I tell them what I was earning as a radiologist, but that's by the by. Um, but you need to have that dependable income in place if you decide to make a huge life change like I did. You know, people may look at me now and think, oh, it was easy for you to leave your job because of X, Y, and Z. It actually wasn't. It was the hardest decision I've ever had to make. And the scariest decision coming from someone who is very naturally very risk averse. I am not a big risk taker. I've luckily, learned so much of being a risk taker from my amazing husband, Raphael, who is incredible and who is very different to me when it comes to risk appetite. He's the total other end of the spectrum. But coming from someone who's very naturally risk averse, it was no easy decision for me to make that jump. It was the scariest decision I've ever had to make. Because I was leaving stability, security, sustainability behind. I was leaving everything that I knew behind, and I was leaving what I call my good girl era behind. And being able to let go of that title of, what do you do for a living, Tanya? Oh, I'm a doctor. It was a massive identity shock and a massive identity question with a big question mark on it for me. But anyway, I digress on that. Coming back to the wealth scenario and the wealth situation, it's really important that we do build income streams, but that we build multiple income streams, which is why I have multiple income streams in my property business. In terms of management of properties for other people, we buy our own properties and we rent other people's properties and then rent them out on a rent to rent basis as well. We've got multiple different income streams there from property, but that's why I have my online business as well. It's why we have a holding business for our properties that we buy to make sure that we're diversifying. And I'm always very acutely aware that we need to be diversifying our income streams because we cannot just be relying solely on one income stream. But the other thing to point out is, which I included in the article that I wrote the other day, is that you cannot just be exchanging your time for money. That is not real wealth. If you have an online business and the only way you generate income is by going on client calls 10 hours a week, and that's how you generate your income, you actually don't have wealth. You've created a job for yourself. And real wealth comes from taking the money that you're earning and investing it in cash flowing assets, wealth generating assets, such as property. But obviously, there are lots of other examples as well. But I'm a property investor, so that's what I will talk about. So these key things are really important to building wealth and also, maintaining a sustainable financial future for you and your family as well. So yeah, it's something that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah. And you're really well known in this online world now as the high ticket sales expert. Tell us a little bit more about that. The high ticket phrase gets bandied about quite a lot, doesn't it? So tell us
Yeah.
a little bit more about what that actually means.
So I help entrepreneurs who want to scale to multi six and seven figures in their service-based businesses. They can be product-based, service-based, actually, don't have to be online if they aren't. I help them scale with high ticket offers. So essentially, these are offers which are priced beyond the average in the market. And it's something that I'm really passionate about because what I've seen a lot of is entrepreneurs really undervaluing and undercharging for their services when they should be charging so much more, not from a selfish or egotistical point of view, but from a place of leadership, from a place of impact as well. So when you have a premium service or a premium offer or product and you attract a premium paying client, the quote unquote caliber of that client is usually very different from someone who invests in a low or a mid ticket offer. I'm not saying that you can't have high caliber clients who invest in low and mid ticket offers because you absolutely can. But when someone is investing a larger amount of money and price points which are beyond industry average, they are emotionally invested, they're financially invested, which means that they're more likely to do the work, they're more likely to get a bigger ROI and bigger results. Now, from a leadership point of view, working with high ticket clients, premium paying clients, whatever you want to call them, premium buyers, you get to invest more of your time and more of your resources in working with those people. You get to personalize your services or your product as well. So again, their results explode compared to if you're working with clients in a low or mid ticket offer. what this does is it's incredible for the client first and foremost. We always need to lead with integrity, with value, with service. So I always ask my clients to think, well, how better can you serve your clients? How better, what more value can you add in to get them even bigger and better results? So our clients get better results. They stay with us because they love working with us. So we get higher retention rates. They will also tell their friends about us. So they'll refer their friends to us. Our revenue then, as a side effect, then goes up, and our reputation then goes up as well. So from a leadership perspective, you get to impact people in a deeper way, help them get bigger results, and impact your industry as well. So it's not just about you making more money. And I'm very, very clear about the fact that I am not about a heavy bro marketing sales approach. I'm highly strategic as a business strategist, but my ethos around high ticket sales and premium sales, attracting premium paying clients, is about doing it ethically. So it's a win-win for both the client and for you as the provider and as the expert.
Yeah, yeah. And would you say that any business owner can have a high ticket offer, even if, lower ticket, mid ticket has been where they've been previously?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great question, and I get asked this all the time. Tanya, well, what about me? This is my niche. I can instantly see if someone just gives me a few bits of information about their business, I can instantly see where they can add high ticket offers and add a premium service to their business. You also don't have to be someone who just helps someone make more money or create more wealth. There is a misconception around that as well, that, well, I don't help people make more money, so how can I charge high ticket? It's a misconception, it's a myth, it's wrong. You can absolutely, and I think anyone with any business can have a high ticket business model or add a premium service to their product suite. Some examples of product-based businesses are, one that I love to use all the time, Fortnum and Mason. They've taken a traditional grocery product, i.e., a Christmas hamper with food and drink, and they've made it premium. I forget the name of it now, but they have a hamper that they sell for £6,000 for a Christmas hamper. So it just goes to show that there are people out there willing to pay premium prices for products, services, offers, containers, and so on. We just need to go and create the perfect power offer for them to say, wow, I see the value in that, and I see the value in me investing in that. I'm in. Where do I buy? How can I work with you, or how can I buy your product? So absolutely, this can be any industry, any service provider, and you don't have to be someone that just helps other people make money or create wealth.
Yeah, there's a lot of myths, isn't there, around high ticket and around, whether people will invest that amount of money. And, with my clients, I quite often who come to me will be saying, well, people won't pay that for me because they're telling me that, that my current offers are too expensive. And it's not about the offers. It's not normally about the offers, is it? It's normally about how you're communicating them, how you're messaging, how you're connecting with the people, and all of that sort of stuff. And something else that I've heard quite a few people say, and I'm sure you'll have something to say on this one as well, that you can't start a business with high ticket. You have to start with something low to get people to get to know you first before you go into high ticket. Now, I disagree with that, and I'd love to know your opinion.
Yeah, so I actually disagree with that. You can absolutely, off the bat, start off in high ticket offers. And I actually think you should be leading with a signature high ticket offer. If you're a coach, mentor, consultant, that will probably look like a one-to-one offer or a high ticket VIP day. But you should absolutely, like, you do not have to start with a low ticket offer. And there is a massive misconception around this, but I think you absolutely can, but it has to come from you believing in yourself and committing to going first. Because nobody is gonna, you cannot wait around for someone to give you permission and validation to say, do you know what, Emma? Now's the time. Now you have permission to go all out and charge tens of thousands for a particular service. It has to come from you first, which is why when I work with my clients, helping them elevate their pricing, helping them attract their most premium, highest caliber clients yet, we do a lot of inner work on their worth, on their money story, on you know, stopping them from pedestalizing money, which I see a lot of people do. We do a lot of inner work around mindset, energetics, and the fact that there are people out there. Money is literally everywhere. There has never been a better time to make more money in the fastest way that we can do now. Like there's never been a better time. So a lot of the work is inner work that you need to do first to then be able to justify to yourself first and foremost that your 10x prices or your 2x prices are justifiable. Which absolutely needs to happen, by the way. You need to justify your prices if you're going to elevate them due to the value that you deliver and the transformations that you help create. But you absolutely can start off with a high ticket offer. I started very early on with low ticket offers, but that didn't really last long. Once I got into high ticket offers, four-figure investments first of all, and then five-figure investments. And last year I had my biggest launch ever, which was a 100K launch in under 2.5 years of me being in my online business. That was because I went against the grain and I just really focused on how better can I serve my clients? What more value can I add? And so the 100K launch was from me promoting a program, which is just under £5,000. And I was told by leading experts to cut my prices. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that because I know the value. I know how this changes people's lives. And it was from that inner work that I'd done on myself. So it's really important to note that you can absolutely be charging more. The question that I get my clients to answer for themselves and ask themselves is this: how would you show up? What would you deliver? And what else would you add to your offers if your clients were paying you double or 10 times what they're currently paying you? And for me, I don't know about you and the listeners, but that instantly generates like an exciting quantum shift and gives me butterflies thinking, wow, this is possible. What else can I add? Of course, it's possible that there are going to be people that could pay me 10 times what people are currently paying me. And so that's a really powerful question that I ask my clients often. Lead from that mindset. What else can you add if they
Yeah.
were paying you, those kind of price points?
Absolutely, because that's what it is, isn't it? High ticket equals high value, as I
Absolutely.
suppose is what you're saying there,
Yeah.
which is a great way to think about it. So yeah, thank you. That was a great little tip for people. We're getting close to the end now, but what I want to do before we go to the close down is, do you want to share with us? I know you've showed lots of things already, but do you want to share with us a top tip for our listeners?
Yeah. Oh, a top tip. Oh, when it comes to sales, so obviously I'm a high ticket sales expert. One of the key things that is going to explode your sales, explode your revenue, explode your business is getting comfortable with detaching from the outcome of a sale. If you're able to sit in your power and if you're able to be convicted in your work and know that your work creates incredible results, then you will close more sales, you will grow your business because you have that attitude that your work changes lives. And it's great if people want to join you on that journey, but it's also great if they don't want to. That's one of the big learning points that I've really embraced over the last few years. Detaching from the outcome of a sale is just so important. And it's actually what makes you magnetic as a salesperson, as an expert as well. If you come across that you actually don't need that sale or that income or that person's money, it's actually more attractive, it's more magnetic. And it's one of the things that my clients have often said to me, I really love the fact, and the reason why I've joined is actually because you didn't chase me about it. You didn't pressurize me about the sale. You didn't pressurize me about the conversion. So that's my biggest tip. And if you want to get any more tips on, high ticket sales, how to get premium clients in your niche in your business, then I'm going to do a shameless plug here, but you need to come and get my book, which is coming out on the 23rd of January in 2025.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this episode on Go Live Day, it is actually going to be tomorrow. How exciting does that sound?
Yeah, I am so excited.
Super, super excited. So before we close down, tell us a little bit more about where people can come and find you. I know that we've got the plug out there, the book will be out there, but where else can people come and find you?
Yeah, so the easiest place is just come and grab me on Instagram at Freedom with Tanya. It's Tanya spelt with an I, or you can come and check out my website and drop me a message on my website, tanyakingmohammed.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been amazing chatting with you. Lots of top tips shared. And thank you to everybody else for listening. We will see you next time.